they're going to start using drones to catch truckers that are evading way stations. Connecticut State Police tested out using drones to catch truckers going around and detouring around way stations. So, and then they'll send a unit after that truck. Something to be aware of. I'm going to go desktop here. Let's see. Here we go. So, Connecticut was the first ones to use it. So, I used to do this. I would, which I stayed pretty close to home, and I knew the back roads I could take. So I used to actually go around way station. I didn't have nothing to hide. I just didn't want to be caught up there and have to wait in line for the trucks to go through because it takes a few minutes just to get through a way station. That's the only reason why I did it. But it's just annoying that now they're sending out drones nonstop catching truckers doing this, and it happened on February 20th. It's probably going to become a thing in every state. That's another thing I want to talk about today. I recorded a video that I haven't put out yet, and it's kind of a trucking and future of what I'm going to be doing and stuff video. As soon as I get this truck out of my hands, I'm going to be selling off my dedicated routes to either the guys I've got running them or just get completely done. Like I'm pretty sure I'm going to get completely out of it. I can still answer questions because I know a lot, but I'm pretty sure that it's just trucking in general is just so overregulated. It's insane. It feels like you're wearing a collar, and I mentioned this in that video. You've got a collar on by DOT. Uh, just so many agencies just have this collar around your neck, and if you're not complying on one thing, you can get put out of service. It's just so stupid. I don't know how you guys feel, but that's how I feel in the trucking industry is I feel like that it's just so it's like you got a collar around your neck all the time. Like if you don't do something right, if you don't have your insurance you're paying $2,000 a month for, guess what? You can't haul anything, you can't do this, you can't do that. There's just so many other businesses out there that you can do for relatively cheap startup costs and way less regulation and make six figures a year. That's literally why I made this channel to document. I've done a lot of stuff before. And it's just crazy that I don't know why people think that trucking is the easiest to get into. It's very easy to get into, but you're not going to profit six figures. You might gross six figures in a year, but your profit's going to be less than half of that. Yeah, it's like you're not working exactly. Like people are like, fire your boss and you can do trucking. Guess who's over your head in trucking? Progressive, DOT, whoever's helping DOT, and then you got, gas prices. It's just like there's people over your head, okay? You're not like you fire your boss at your work to go into trucking, but then you got the big DOT boss that like if they say that your truck isn't good or compliant or they're going to find something, guess what? You're out. With other businesses, you've got stuff like that, like OSHA and stuff, but man, trucking is one of the most overregulated industries I've ever seen or been a part of. And I've been a part of e-commerce. I've been a part of a lot of things. Just think about it. Think of how overregulated that is. OSHA isn't that bad. It's insane. I mean, I'm getting out. I mean, I could keep doing like hiring or subleasing, if you will, my dedicated routes that I get, or I could go into dispatching, but to me, I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I'm bringing in money, not having to do it, and I could do something like that or become a broker or a dispatcher or whatever. To me, it's just not worth it. There's just so much BS you have to deal with. It's ridiculous. When I could literally go out here, buy a lawnmower for $1,000, say I got a decent used one, fill its tank up with freaking $5 a gallon gas, which ugh, don't even get me started on fuel prices for trucks and how much fuel you spend. Go out and mow 2 to 3 yards and make $1,000 in a day, depending on yard size. I mean, exactly. Insurance, truck payments, brokers, low boards, diesel, out of town hotels. Exactly. I don't know why or when trucking became this big, like, gold rush. Come on, the water's fine. come on, trucking, come on, come on. And then you get into it and you're like, holy crap, man. Water's not so fine once you do it for about, a year. And people are still preaching that, it's an $814 billion industry. Come buy my $5,000 course. Get started today. Just get your truck. That's all you need, man. It's like, man, come on. Get out of here. And that's when I started. Like, once I got a swig of the juice, and I was like, okay, you can make money. But once somebody either hits you or you have an accident, pretty much you're out for me, I was out 2 months driving myself, and I had to find a way to get my dedicated stuff moved, which made me get creative. And then doing it legally. And then say, like now, with mentions of war, and say markets get really bad, good luck getting parts, man. I mean, just if I didn't have that dedicated stuff, man, that crash, if it would have taken 6 months, insurance doesn't pay out if it's not your fault. They don't pay out till the truck's repaired. Loss of income. So, that would put somebody out of business right there. Oh yeah, and then taxes is another thing. Like, not a lot of people don't know taxes. Like, if you're self-employed, guess what? Off the top, 15%. So let's say you make $5,000. Let's just do the math. And that's just self-employment tax right off the top. Pull out the handy dandy calculator, throw it on desktop. All right, watch this. Let's say we got a $5,000 load, right? Or for a week or something. Let's say 2 days, 3 days, whatever. All right. Times this by, it's usually 30, self-employment off the top 15, and then it's usually in between like 10 to 15% more after that at the end of the year, whatever you make. So we'll just times it by 0.3, which is 30%, 1,500 of 5K. So 1,500 of this number that you grossed, you got to take away $1,500. And this isn't counting like fuel costs, truck payments, all this sort of stuff that just people don't even talk about. Like, nobody knows taxes, and like they probably aren't setting it aside. But yeah, right there, like that right there, I'll put a lot of people out of business. But what I'm getting into is I'm getting back into pressure washing homes and houses. Now, let me tell you how much money you can make off a single job that can take you anywhere from 1.5 to 2 hours. Let's say 2.5 hours, just to be conservative. The lowest I'll be getting paid is $300. And let's say I wanted to work 6-8 hours a day. That's 3 to 4 jobs. Now, more high ticket, depending on how many jobs you do and how you structure your ads and stuff like that, over $1,000 per job, depending on the neighborhood, how big the house is, square footage, what's the median income of the area you're doing it in. But let's say I did a $1,000 job, and let's say I did just one job a day, 5 days a week, made $5,000. My total expenses might reach $400 for the week, maybe, depending on gas prices. But even gas isn't going to be that bad. Let's say 500, just be conservative. So I would have made $4,500 gross. And then you, of course, you got to take off, 30% tax or whatever, 15% self-employment tax. But I'm going to start breaking it down. I'm going to keep making trucking content of stuff that people ask me over and over and over, like frequently asked questions, just like I answered at the beginning. But in my opinion, as of March 4th, with diesel prices rising, and rates really, the 5-year average is $2.50 a mile. And just the overregulation of the industry, I would not recommend getting into trucking at this very moment in time, honestly. I just wouldn't. A lot of people won't like that, but, it is what it is. That's just my opinion. A single crash, even if you don't do it, if somebody hits you like they hit me under a red light, completely stopped, hits me, puts me out of commission, can't drive my truck because it's being worked on and waiting for parts for 2 months. Let's say that reaches 6 months. I mean, what's somebody going to do if they don't have anything coming in for 6 months? You know, you got to think about it. Power washing is great business. Just make sure you have great insurance to avoid those claims from leaks and issues with that happening with pressure washing. Yeah, the thing about it is the way I do it is I will walk the customer around their property and I'll show them things and point out things that maybe they don't realize. Like, say I see a wilting plant, I have them right there by the arm, like, hey, see that right there? That's not me. Do not make a claim on it. And then before I do the job, I have a paper written up by an attorney, my attorney, that basically 30% down, once the job's done, pay me. And then I have a document that we go around as I'm discussing stuff with him of what I'm going to do and what we found that was already broken, plants wilted, all that stuff. So there's ways to get around the whole just watch out, for claims and stuff like that. Like, if you're official like that and you actually walk them around and tell them what's already dead and what has a crack from before and you didn't do it, and make sure you take pictures before you start as well. I mean, they're not gonna try anything. You know what I'm saying? And once they sign that paper, legally binding them to have to pay you the rest of the money once the job's done, so you don't not get paid. I mean, there's some I know a lot about pressure washing so far, and I'm going to start recording some videos. I know a lot of people like washing it just because it's satisfying to see it be clean. So, but just think about how much easier pressure washing could be compared to trucking. I mean, you don't have to pay $170 a month to find work. I'm literally running Facebook ads right now for $2 to $3 a day and getting leads by people messaging me like, hey, can you quote my house? It's 2,000 square feet. How much would you charge to do fence cleaning, driveway cleaning, and brick home cleaning? I don't have to pay $170 a month for a freaking load board to even just try to get a load. Not just like, oh, click, okay, I get this load. Okay, yeah, let's go do the load. You have to try to call, and they're like, oh, you haven't been in business for a year. Sorry. And then lawn mowing. I mean, say you wanted to get a Troy-built lawnmower. I mean, you don't have to have the most fancy stuff, Say you're pressure washing, and they're like, hey, I noticed you got a lawnmower on your trailer too. Do you mow lawns? How much would you charge to mow my lawn? And you're already there. Like, hey, upsell. And then the neighbors see how good a job you're doing. They come over there like, hey, you see my house over there? You care to, after you get done, come over there and check it out? As the season's coming in, it hit 71 degrees yesterday. Man, it feels so good. It's about time to start lawn mowing and pressure washing. And the thing about pressure washing is you can even do that in the winter. You just got to watch the temps, and you can, even if you don't want to fire up a pressure washer, you can like window clean. There's a gutter clean in the winter, so it can be a full year-round business. It doesn't have to be seasonal. And I do know people that make profit over $100K a year as pressure washing companies, and especially one in Nashville. So be on the lookout for that. I've already got 2 jobs already at the end of this month. Each earn about $300-400 apiece. And the thing about pressure washing is it's very lucrative, especially if you get into the big neighborhoods and you say you're pressure washing one of their driveways, and then a neighbor sees you, walks over like, hey, once you're done, you care to come over here and check mine out? Man, it's a snowball. Once you do one, word of mouth starts, and it goes crazy. And it doesn't take nowhere near the amount of time. Like, say you get a $600 load on in trucking, you've got to go pick it up. You got to drive it. Let's say it takes you, 11 hours drive time to get there, the full amount, unload, and then you got to do a reset and then come back. Like, think how much time that's taking. And then with pressure washing, you can do relatively most jobs, even big houses, like full wash, driveway, everything within 2 to 3 hours, maybe pushing 4. Um, but it's just crazy how much money you can make, and then charge $800 for a full property. I'd probably charge like 1,000, depending on how big it is, like a 2-story house. But it's very lucrative in a short amount of time, and you get to stay close to home. I mean, try to land commercial accounts with pressure washing. My buddy does Cracker Barrel parking lot. Yeah, that's another thing. You can branch off into not just pressure washing for them. Say their parking stripes are faded. There's nothing saying that you can do that. Be like, hey, I washed your parking lot. I noticed that your parking stripes are very, very faded and they're hard to see. Would you mind if I painted those on there? It's very easy to do if you've never done that before. That could be an upcharge, another $500,000. And a lot of time, commercial businesses, they have a lot of money to spend, and they'll pretty much say yes to anything just to get it done and out of the way. I'm still going to be brain dumping all I know about trucking and try to make it into videos for you guys that are still, part of that audience and are still doing that. But you're going to start seeing some videos of, like, say, pressure washing recap and before and after recaps, like how much does it cost to start pressure washing, all that good stuff. That's why I named this channel Jay's Side Hustles, because this is literally anything I do, I can teach you guys how to do it. And as I learn and as I get better, if you guys decide to go that route, you're watching me do it, so hopefully it helps you guys do it and not having to buy a $5,000 course. I love it. I need to quit roasting people. Man, I used to sell Kindle ebooks all the time. I'd get them ghost written and everything. I've done everything. Like, I have literally done it all. If you have a question about it, if I've done it, I'll tell you. I don't care. I've sold on Amazon e-commerce. I've ordered from Chinese factories, got it shipped over. I've done drop shipping on eBay. That actually was kind of interesting because you can make a lot of money doing that. It's very weird. In my opinion, trucking ain't it. In my opinion, it's not it. It ain't it, Chief. In my opinion. Like, honest, brutal opinion, it's not where it's at. Don't fire your boss to do that. Can you make money? Yeah, you can make money. But if I could go over and do it again, probably wouldn't. Probably wouldn't have went full-time pressure washer, to be honest, in lawn mowing. Honestly. You can make more money in a shorter amount of time and keep more of the money. Less regulations. Don't go buy that course for $5,000. Man. It's crazy to me that factories that handle chemicals that I used to work in aren't as regulated as the trucking industry is.